Saturday, December 30th, 2023, Monaco 64, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. Today, we're going to look at the green light special in the gold price. And if any of you don't know what that means, the green light special, just bear with me. Before I start, though, I'd like to say that, as you can see, Rudy is back. He loves that sofa. My wife has just gone out to do a bit of shopping and to see her mother. And he gets a little bit annoyed about that. He doesn't like it when either of us goes out. But anyway, I want to talk about gold, of course, a little bit about silver, and a little bit about the markets in general in 2023. I'm going to look briefly at what the stock markets have done and what gold and silver have done in terms of performance. Before I do, just like to say that a green light special, from what I understand, watching golf on YouTube, or not really TV. I don't have a TV, but I watch it on paid service. A lot of times the commentators say, well, he's got a green light special. And what does that mean for those of you who might not know the term or might not know much about golf? Well, let's say you hit a really good drive and you don't have much for your second shot on a long par 4. Let's say you've got 100 yards and it's the perfect yardage for one of your clubs, one of your wedges. There's very little in front of the pin in terms of hazards, like a bunker or rough, and you can just go for it. And if you hit a good shot, you'll probably make a birdie. You hit it close and knock in the putt. That's a green light special. And I think it's a good analogy for what we're going to look at for the gold price in terms of technicals. And again, I always stress that this is probability. It's not certainty. But I think it looks good. So before we do that, let's look at the stock market, see how they performed year to date or for 2023. Well, it looks like the Dow was up 13.7% year to date. And that's an interesting percentage because depending which close you use for 2022, gold was up around the same, about 14%. So it matched the Dow perfectly, I would say. The S&P, on the other hand, was up 24%, and the NASDAQ was up 43%. Probably more affected by these the 7 stocks or shares that people are talking about, the Magnificent 7. I see that the small cap Russell 2000 was up just under 15%. So more similar to what gold did. And in British pounds, for those of you who are in the UK like me, gold is up, I think, about 8%, maybe a little less in 2023. Why did the pound outperform the dollar in terms of gold? I think it's because in 2022, the pound was down a lot versus gold, and the dollar was virtually went unchanged. And as I've said many times before, these fiat currencies, they take turns to sink against not only each other, but against real money, i.e. gold and silver for that matter. Silver, I think, finished just virtually unchanged for the year. So a bit of a frustrating year for silver. But we're going to look at silver as well. So let's get to this green light special in gold and why I think it looks very interesting. And you will see what happened in the past after you had a green light special. So we're going to start with the red light. That is not very special. which actually means the market will start a bear market, that the market is topped. And that was back in 1980, as you can see here. And these are all monthly closes, and these are line charts. That's why you can't see the 21.48 that we traded at a few weeks ago. But anyway, back in January 1980, the monthly closing high was 653. And then we had a retest of that level in June. And the high closing was 653.50. So like a double top. And then in September 1980, we actually broke out of that monthly closing above 653. And guess what was the closing for that month? Well, 666.75. And I guess you could say that was a triple top, and it didn't work. And it was a red light special because it marked the beginning of a bear market. And it took, I would say, looking back here, it took 25 years, if you go to 2006 and 7, for gold to get back above that 650, 670 level. So it's a long, protracted bear market. And then we come to the first green light special, and that was in 2008. And that's when there was a top there above 1,000. The closing for the month was 974. Yes, we did trade above 1,000 in 2008. I remember that well, at 1,030 or thereabouts. And then we dropped, of course. That was during the Lehman crisis. And gold closed at 717 in October 08. And then, though, we broke out. And we broke out of 1,000, and we closed on a monthly basis above 1,000 for the first time in September 2009. And from there on, it was a major move up in terms of intraday trading around 921. But the monthly closing high here in August of 2011, well, that was 1825. And then it tried again back in September 2012 to go back above 18, and it failed at 1772. So that was a major red light special. The market bottomed, and we only went on, bottomed late 2015, early 2016, and we went on to break that 1920 level only in the beginning or in 2020, and we've made quite a few tops here below 2,000 on the monthly closing basis. That's why we can't see the close, while the intraday trading above 2,000 that we had in the last 4 years. And up until recently, we didn't know if this was going to be a green light special or a red light disaster for gold. Yes, there are many that have been calling for gold to go back to 1,500 or even 1,000. November really marked the beginning of what I think is a green light special, because we closed that month at 2,036, and I'm taking the prices from barchart.com, as you can see. And then December, or yesterday, we closed the month, the year, and the quarter at 2,062. And the previous highs to November, they were in July 2020. There was a high at 1974.68. The high in April this year, well, it was 1989.64. So we're comfortably above those two highs. We're comfortably above 2,000. So to me, it looks very bullish for gold. It looks bearish, not just for the dollar, the fiat dollar, but for all other fiat currencies. because gold really is not just a measure of the strength of the dollar, but a measure of the strength of all other fiat currencies, because they're all based on the dollar because of the Bretton Woods Agreement of 1944. Nothing has changed, even though Nixon kind of tore up that agreement. So yes, I think it looks very good. Am I going to predict prices? No, but I think, as you can see from the previous green light special that we had in 2000, from 2008, for example, to 2009, where we had that top and then we broke out. There was a major move, and it took about 2 years, really, from the summer of 2009 to the summer of 2011, and gold basically more than doubled from the lows it made in October 2008. And I think this is very significant. Of course, as I said, technical analysis is probability, and some of you might also ask about the price manipulation. Yes, the bankers and the central banks, they try to control the price. And why do I think they do that? Well, because I think they don't want a free market in gold, because gold would always be going up and people would twig onto it. The general public would get involved. They want to make it choppy. They want to frustrate people. But eventually they have to let it go, or their currencies have to inflate versus gold, or be debased versus gold, because it's the only way to keep their fiat currency system going, because it's based on a lot of debt, ever-growing debt, and the only way to carry their debt, because don't be fooled, the bankers borrow a lot of money. They need to make it worth less versus the premier, well, the premier kind of money there is. And this is not me saying it. JP Morgan, the JP Morgan said it back in 1913 when asked what gold was. He said gold is money and everything else is credit. So that's how I see it. What about silver? Well, of course, silver, we haven't had a green light special yet. And it's a different animal, silver. But I think silver is, to use another analogy aside from the green light special, it's the horse that's fell behind. Gold is like leading the way in the horse race, and silver is coming from behind. Eventually it will catch up with gold and probably outperform gold massively. So that's how I see silver. When do I think it's going to get off to the races and catch up and then overtake gold? I think, as you can see by this chart here, if we can break through like 28, which is like a double top here from 2020 and 2021, and then of course also 30. And once we break through those levels, depending where gold is, I think the silver market is going to be like crazy. It's going to be all over the shop. And what do I mean by that? Well, it's going to go up $10 one day. It's going to come down $5 the other, and then up 20 the next. It's going to be mad, and everyone's going to try to jump in. Not just into the gold market, but silver market, especially because silver is cheaper in terms of dollar amount. So that's how I see it. And this should be the last video for the year. Again, I'd like to thank all of you for your support. And of course, I'd like to wish you also a Happy New Year. Yes, Rudy shut off the sofa. My wife just got back and she rang the doorbell, as you could probably hear it. So take care, everyone, and have a great weekend. Bye.